place, outlet for charity socks hand-knitted by one of Reich's friends. The proceeds go towards buying shoes for the homeless. Isolde was born in Glatten in 1962, the younger of two sisters. Her father Norbert, a talented goalkeeper, was a sport fanatic. Thwarted by a serious-minded father, he insisted Norbert should have a proper vocation, not try his hand at becoming a football pro, Reich says. His career was over before it had really begun. His sporting ambitions, however, were undiminished. He played amateur football, handball and tennis, and tried to pass on his passion to his family. When his wife Elizabeth and eldest daughter Stephanie showed no inclination to take up any game, Norbert's hopes centred on Isolde. Before her birth, in my album of baby photos, he wrote, "Isolde, you should have been a boy, actually," she smiles. And after, "I was the first girl in all of Glatten to go to football training." Norbert was her coach, his methods exacting and demanding. He took 5-year-old Isolde to practice heading on the Riedweissen football pitch next to the river, where an old heavy ball on a rope hung from a green iron bar. If her body positioning wasn't right, or her arms were too high, Norbert sent her to run a lap around the pitch for punishment. He was tough but just, a man of principle, full of passion, Reich says. In the summer of 1967, her mother left the family home for a month. Elizabeth was heavily pregnant, and the risk of complications made it necessary to check into a clinic in Stuttgart, 80 minutes away to the northwest. The local hospital at Freudenstadt, just 8.5 kilometres up the road, wasn't equipped to perform caesareans. It was hard for Stephanie and Isolde to be without their mother for such a long time. "We were promised. Mum will bring something amazing for you when she comes back." When Norbert and Elizabeth arrived at the house, however, they had a tiny baby in their arms, screaming its head off. After an hour or so, the sisters wondered whether it could be taken back and exchanged for something different. A small shrieking brother. What a lousy surprise! But Isolde soon realised that she'd be given much more than a second, annoyingly loud sibling that day. All my dad's sporting focus shifted immediately onto the boy. I was relieved from practising headers with the pendulum, allowed to take up ballet and athletics instead. Jürgen's birth was my good fortune, really. He set me free. Chapter 2. Rose Monday, 0 hour. Mainz, 2001. Christian Heidel loves the story so much, he's beginning to wonder if it's actually true. As a Mainzer, I could say, let's make this up. But it really happened, he insists, readying himself for a mental hyperjump. From the corporate blandness of his Schalke 04 office, to a city lustily singing and dancing in a confetti rain and a tiny, hopeless second-division team banished to a distinctly unsexy provincial exile 40 minutes away by car. The day before, on 25th of February 2001, FSV Mainz 05 had played their bogey side SPV GG Groote Fürth and had lost 3-1 at the Playmobil Stadion. Klopp was a little bit injured and the worst man on the pitch. He had to come off 20 minutes before the end, Heidel says. The defeat plunged Mainz deep into the relegation zone. "We were am Arsch," the former FSV general manager smiles. Quite literally in the bottom of the table, with no discernible light at the end of the tunnel. We had 3,000 people at games on average. Nobody cared about us anymore. Everybody was sure we were going down. His colleagues on the Mainz board were all in the city centre, revelling in the Rose Monday carnival festivities, for which the capital of Rhine and Palatinate is famous in Germany. 500,000 people dress up in silly costumes and get a little tipsy and a little flirty. State broadcasters ARD and ZDF devote an entire evening to the 4-hour meeting of the city's carnival clubs at the Electoral Palace, a potpourri of beer-soaked gags and political satire. Eckhard Krautzen, the well-travelled Mainz coach, nicknamed Wertelbummler, Globetrotter, deemed the temptations of the carnival too great for the team ahead of a very big game at Duisburg on Ash Wednesday. After losing at Fürth, the shit had hit the fan in Mainz. We knew that they would either axe the coach or set light to our backsides. We were secluded in a hotel in Bad Kreuznach for 3 days, so that no one got out and about, says